Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nom Watch Review, part of Nom Talk Network. On this show, if you already don't know, which if you don't know, then you need to know, we review the latest film drop or throwback, celebrating a milestone while eating and drinking our favorite movie and snacks and drinks, all of the above. I'm your host. My name is Jordyn Orozco, and right now I'm enjoying a lovely turbocharged drink right here. And I also made some Power Ranger noodles. It's really just an old fashioned and some ramen that I'm drinking. And I'd love to introduce my guest for tonight, who I've never met, and I'm also excited to just share this wonderful, experience with. Let's start with Robert. Robert, what's going on? How are you?
Oh, nothing, man. I'm just here to talk about Power Rangers.
I can see that in your Power Rangers sweatshirt.
I got, which is not Power Rangers Turbo. Yeah. But, you get the point, right? I like the Power Rangers. You get it. Do they have a Turbo hoodie?
Probably.
Oh, yeah. Bro.
They got it, right?
No, they do. Oh, bro, they're all they have all the Rangers, man.
Oh, good.
You just have to, like, look for it, like, on those. Like, you really got to look.
Yeah. Because I think that, like, the Turbo design, I'm a huge fan of the Turbo design. Probably one of my favorite ones. So, man, I should. And it's subtle enough. Because it's not like the OG super popular. I know what that is. Yeah, maybe I should get that.
Yeah, definitely. And Juan, what's going on? First time. What's up?
What is up, party people? It's a pleasure. Hold on, I'm just gonna chew this pizza really quick.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Let me ask Robert. Robert, what are you munching on tonight? What are you drinking?
I'm eating Mighty Morphin pistachios.
Nice.
And they're wonderful.
Okay. Awesome.
I got paid
Juan,
to say that.
Oh, wow.
No, I didn't.
Juan, what are we munching on tonight?
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Juan Abdias. And at this moment, I'm currently enjoying this turbo-tastic pizza right here with the extra turbo bacon, pepperoni, and mushrooms. And I'm also enjoying a very delicious drink of Modelo inside one of my mugs.
Modelo ready to bolt.
I just have a feeling it's just going to foam everywhere.
No, it's like a Mary Poppins mug. It just pour the whole thing in there.
It is quite a mug, and I found this mug. It's freaking amazing. It's like my new favorite mug. And for chocolate, I go frozen Kit Kats and Reese's, so I'll be munching good.
Oh, I eat my Kit Kats frozen too.
You got to, dude. Chocolate frozen it's the best. It's the best.
I eat my pistachios frozen too.
I don't know how that would feel on your teeth. That isn't.
No, it's awful. It's very painful.
It sounds pretty bad. I feel like your dentist makes a good amount of money from you.
Oh, he's loaded.
Wow.
He's like, yo, you see my new Ferrari? That's you, Robert. That's you.
So in case any of you all were wondering, the film we're going to talk about tonight, if you haven't already learned from our food choices and our clothing choices and our beer choices, is Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, which is celebrating its 25th year this year. I don't know about you all, but I feel old as fuck because...
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know that. Now I'm in
34-year-old me was like, no, this movie, no. And then like 8, or I don't know how old it was, but like that was like, no, it's the best movie ever. And so, watching it was very interesting as an adult. And I don't know if you all know this, but I think it was on Netflix a while ago. Like it had all the Power Rangers series on it.
Netflix had everything.
Started from the beginning, and I was like, this is so disgusting, but I have to watch more.
And I picked Turbo like specifically when it was on Netflix. And I watched a few in the beginning ones. Because I remember being so excited for the show to come out. Like I saw the movie, I was hyped, and then I was like counting down the days for the first episode.
Oh, Passing the Torch episodes, part 1 and 2, probably one of my favorite. Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
so good.
So
like, okay, so I'm gonna be a little bit of a, what do you call that when you're like just a fan of the original?
Hipster?
Wow, neither of those, but also they kind of do. I'm a little bit of like a purist when it comes to Power Rangers, and so I love like Robert, what you're wearing. Like that was where I started. Like that was what I got into.
Oh,
I had Power Rangers, everything. I had underwear, I had bed sheets, I had shirts, I had all this stuff when I was a kid. And then you slowly get into the iterations of Power Rangers. I think it was after Turbo that I gave up because it just got weird.
After Space, I gave up, and I loved In Space. It was basically Star Trek meets Power Rangers. It was straight up it was Star Trek Power Rangers. Like, I'll argue that all day. But
I kept watching Power Rangers pretty far until it was bought up by Nickelodeon. Once Nickelodeon bought it, I was like, okay, this is nothing but bright colors.
Or it was Disney, right?
Still watch it. Yeah, no, it was Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon owned it? Wow. Okay.
I believe so, from my understanding, because and I stopped watching it, but then I started to rewatch it when some friends of mine or people I train with started getting casted in. I'm okay, I'll watch your stuff. And one of my old martial art friends, she was casted as the Yellow Ranger for the Power Rangers. One of the newest one. I am at this moment. I'm currently drawing a blank.
It's a dinosaur themed one. Again.
What is it? Is it? It's not. It wasn't. I know Brennan, the Dino Charge Ranger, the Red Ranger. He's a homie of mine. He's super cool. But the Yellow Ranger, this one was maybe within the last 2-3 years. Two of my friends were on that. It was crazy.
It's not the one where they put the cards in, is it?
No, that's Super Mega Force.
Because I got that one.
Yeah, that's Mega Force.
Wow.
I'm really cool.
I'm cool, guys.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anytime someone questions how cool I am, I just am hello.
Wild Force and Ninja Storm. Those were rock and roll. Wild Force, Ninja Storm.
Jeez.
Hell yeah.
Oh, cool.
Wow, memories. So let's get into it. Q actually, I don't know if you all know, but Q made a comment. Said Q in the house. What's up? Oh boy, I remember this movie. I rate this a 4 out of 5 for nostalgia purposes. It was cheesy, but good cheesy. But I can say the costumes are better than the original show. He said, Jordyn, I'm 44 and now I feel old. LOL. Well, Q, welcome to the club. So let's talk about how we felt going into this and how we felt watching this, right? I have to admit, I watched this while I was at work, so it was on in the background, but I had to glue myself into it because I was I remember all of this verbatim, where they're gonna go, what happened, because I was absolutely obsessed with this when I was a kid, right? I think for me, I was oh, I can't wait. And then I remember how cheesy sort of the Power Rangers franchise was. And then I had to lower my expectations while I was watching it because little me was screaming inside. But then I was this is probably the worst movie I've ever seen. And then I had to fight myself with it. Right. So for me, it was nostalgic, but also it was just this, how did I how do you enjoy this shit when you were right? Juan, how did you feel? What was going on with you watching this?
I mean, of course, watching it, you're just looking at it. It's wow, man, the 90s, the 2000s, I am loving it. Because let's be real, when it comes to stuff like that, 90s and 2000s was the best television and movies all around. Because don't get me wrong, 80s movies, not 70s movies, they're all great. But after the 2000s, movies started kind of changing. Because you will know when you're watching a 90s movie and a 2010s movie. The difference. And watching Turbo, it was really cool. It's obviously Tommy, Jason David Frank, greatest Power Ranger of all time. That's not even up for debate.
No question.
It's literally not. Johnny Young Bosch, freaking beast. And that's what's really great about the originals, because so many of them put so much true martial artists. And Johnny Young Bosch, he's still killing it today. Jason David Frank still killing it with his martial arts. And watching Rangers from back in the day, because the original, you said, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, each person was gymnast, dancer.
Yep.
We were real with it. And how I felt how Power Rangers were kind of changing. It was it was really kind of turning into oh, who's pretty, who's beautiful. And then it's hey, don't do that. I'm really, dude, this is the leader. I gotta follow this guy.
Yeah.
Hey, no, give me dudes who freaking whoop ass, who know how to and then of course when when I think it was Power Rangers Mega Force, or when they did that huge Power Ranger melee like reunion.
Power Rangers Endgame.
Obviously, because Japan is Power Rangers.
It was,
and like when you see that, it's like, oh shoot, that's Tommy. Oh shoot, they brought back her in space, Lost Galaxy. Like that one was cool because like this was what we loved watching. But so like watching the movie like as an adult, it's still fun to watch, especially being a stunt actor. Like seeing the martial arts, the fighting aspect of it. It's like the storyline, obviously, and like the whimsical music, like like when it's just like super random, and it's just like seeing like a bunch of teenagers and then a little kid. It's just so fun. It's like I'm the new Blue Turbo Ranger, and it's all like, yo, man, that kid is like 10, but he's a genius. I could be a Power Ranger too.
Sure. Okay, Robert, what did you feel like going into the movie again? Like if you did again, like how was that for you?
Well, I was reading up a little bit on it, and apparently the original like Sentai was like the name was called like Racing Squadron Car Ranger, and it's apparently a like a parody of the Super Sentai like genre. And I think that's why it's so ridiculous. Like if you look at their weapons, they're so like gigantic and they look more like toys than ever. And that was just like, I just wanted to bring that up because it was just like a little side thing. But I went into this honestly thinking that it was going to be worse than it was for me. I really thought like the acting was going to be way more worse. But it wasn't. There was some like, I don't know, like I had to take my mind out of it because I knew it was like a kid's movie. Like when we introduced Justin, he's on the bus and the kids are just in repetition. The wheel, what is it? Row, row, row your boat. And we're just doing that over and over again. And that's all that's happening in the background while Kat and Justin are having this like conversation. And I'm just like, can you shut them up while I watch like this scene take place? Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I guess my expectations were low, but I have some like questions. I don't know if we can get into later about like things that make sense and don't make sense, but
that's the best.
Yeah.
It's like looking at it, it's like, wait, why did that happen?
Right? Yeah. I don't know if it was like I'm curious why they booted out Rocky at all. Was it an actor thing? Was it they just wanted like a more youthful actor in there? Like they wanted a kid in there?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, I feel like I remember reading about something like that. Like I think something was going on in his life or something. Like again, I can't be for sure on that, but I remember reading something about that. Oh my gosh! Like and then just the writers like just completely flipped the script on it. But again, like that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Do you know? You know?
I don't know. Because when you're a kid, you don't fucking care. You're just like, oh, there's this kid who's like approximately my age, who's like a Power Ranger. If he can do it, I can do it. Like,
I remember being really jealous, and apparently I'm not the only one. And a lot of people hate Justin. People just do not like Justin at all. And you know what? It's like, why did he become a Ranger? Why? Because he accidentally saw them teleport, and then Zordon's like, yeah, that's good enough. Here you go. Let's send a 10-year-old out to kill himself.
Yeah.
And, like,
it's like, thank you for it's like, the whole speech that Zordon gives, like, you are giving what you're doing is amazing. Thank you for doing this. And then when you like really think about it, it's like, all right, okay, bro.
Like, he's also 12 Zordon. Like he doesn't know, he can't make his own decisions. Like you need to involve his parents at least.
Yeah, but no, and that's the thing, because he was a genius. Justin was a genius because like how the Turbo show starts, he took like an aptitude test, and then he gets into the high school, so he ends up going to Andrew Go. He's like, hey guys, I'm here now. I'm just a genius. Like he grades up because he's a genius.
My favorite is when they morph like towards the very end, and they're like, "Oh, we got to morph," and Justin just goes,
"Yeah."
Like they had to add height.
And Jason David Frank, he gets the turn. He gets the cool turn.
Yeah,
everyone else just gets the like Snapchat filter thing.
And no, Red Ranger always gets the best thing. That's how it is. No, that's not even a question. That's not even a question. Yeah. And I love when like when other shows like use like when those Rangers who are older morph, but they use like their original stuff.
Oh,
it's like I'm sure that it's just like a teenager again. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So here at Nom Watch Review, we like to sort of rate things in popcorn buckets. So from 1 to 5, my guys, what would you rate Turbo Power Rangers movie? Let's start with Robert. What would you give this?
I'd probably give it a 3 to 4. Again, I'm trying to judge it from like a kid standpoint because it is a kid's movie. So for me to like have the perspective of like, this isn't Paul Thomas Anderson. You know what I mean? So it's
this isn't what he's that's not what he does.
No, that'd be interesting. But yeah, I'd probably say a 3.
Perfect. Yeah. And Juan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Robert on that one. I'm gonna give it a 3, and like that's because like as a kid, it's a 5. Like you said, it's the greatest movie of all time. It's incredible to see people just fight, the jokes, the cool like like the cars. Like dude, they had talking. They weren't talking cars, but they could talk to their cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'd be like, oh, Storm Shadow, what's up, buddy? It's like that's so cool. But then like when you're watching it as an adult, you're just like, man, I watched a lot of stuff as a kid, but it's still awesome to see these kids fight their teenagers with attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And also be like a stuntman seeing the fight scenes is just so much fun. Like I love it.
Do you think Jordyn would get like 5 Navy SEALs instead? But
that would be a really funny sketch. No. That would be really funny. Like Alpha's like Jordyn, I get it, my guy. Teenagers, cool, but let me point you to the right. Spies, not as like these people. They are heavily trained.
Right.
Freaking, agents. Boom. These people like we need the 5 best. Like cocome on. Like,
Alpha's just like, okay, hear me out.
Cool idea. Hear me out. Yeah. Real quick.
I just imagine Jordyn just being like, no, I want teenagers. And he's like, all right. Geez, we'll get the teenagers. Hold on.
Like, and then Alpha's like, hey, guys, do you think something's going on with Jordyn? Like, talking about what is going on?
I want the teenagers.
Also, are you certified scuba divers? Here. Like that's
By the way, guys, can you drive hundreds of foot mechanical beasts? Like, just real quick.
Well, if you remember in like the first episode of Power Rangers, when they get into their Zords, they say like, wow, I just know how to control this. Like, I'm like, did you get programmed in your head? I don't know.
They kind of they kind of go into like stuff like that and other stuff. Like, how do we just know this stuff? It's like, depends like when you're, it's like it's kind of like a subliminal messages type of stuff, but they don't like explain that. That's how, as adults, we think about it. Like, oh like, so they put on their morphers, like all that. It's like,
they did mention that Alpha taught Justin how to drive too when he showed up to like the pirate ship thing.
Oh, he said
he's like, Alpha taught me how to drive.
He got a crash course in driving.
He's like, good thing, you don't need a license to drive a Zord. And I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure you would have to if we had the law on.
But then I love how Tommy goes, we'll address this later. Never got addressed lader.
No,
never got addressed later. Oh,
Justin was out there whooping ass, man. Justin was like, he was kicking ass.
Oh yeah. I would give this a 2 out of 5 popcorn buckets. The reason being because as an adult, Power Rangers was my shit when I was a kid, right? And you're and I think it goes to the like credence of like, oh, why are these teenagers? Because when we were like back then, it was like they were older than us. Didn't matter if they were 20, 30, 40.
Yeah.
Like they were older than us and it was something to aspire to, right? Like nowadays we'd be like, really? Like all Gen Zs look forward to is Euphoria. And that's like, no, I don't want to do Coke. I don't want to do drugs. Like maybe some sense of Marvel, what's going on. But they're all adults, with all that
stuff.
That's
why everyone hated Justin.
Right. And so for me,
it's a dream.
But I think watching it now, I'm like, this was the stupidest shit ever. But I loved it as a kid. And so the only reason why I'm getting a 2 out of 5 because I've done multiple ones of Nom Watch reviews. I've given like some of the best movies 4 out of 5s because I'm not like a hard critic, but like it's hard for me to be like 5 out of 5 period. Like and then even 4 out of 5. Like I gave the Batman 4 out of 5 where I was like, okay, cool. Like there's still some things right? And then I did another one and I did a 3. But this one I was like, I gotta give it a solid 2. Just because, you know, for nostalgia purposes, it was great. It was awesome. I probably would have given it a 5 out of 5. But yeah, so let's go into all these juicy details y'all have been trying to discuss. Juan, I know you want to talk about the martial arts, the stunt aspects of it, which were clearly hilarious. And Robert, I know you had some questions. So I think for me, one of the first things is the inconsistencies in this entire movie are hilarious. They are hilarious. I do love, however, the story in itself where you have this main villain who, I will give it to Power Rangers,
Divatox.
Some of the first female villains of all time. Like first you had like Lord
Divatox,
who was
he was
like
dope.
Divatox is a great drag name. I don't know if anyone agrees.
So good. So
like that would be a cool drag name, Divatox.
So there is a drag person name, or there's a drag woman, and her name is Detox.
Oh, Detox,
yeah, but not Divatox, which I was like, that's fucking amazing. And then obviously you have this strong female lead, who's a villain with 2 henchmen. Who there's always 2 henchmen, right? There's always 2. And then you meet the Power Rangers. They're new, right? Like, so I'm a huge fan. If we had watched the original Power Rangers movie, it probably would have been a 4 out of 5 for me, because
that's where my bread and butter is too.
Like, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie, so good. Ivan Ooze, come on, that's a whole.
What was the song they ended with? They ended with like Van Halen.
That's Van Halen. Yeah. Bro, my favorite song.
Where the budget went.
Like that.
I always think of the Power Rangers movie now when I hear that song.
I love how they did a rock ballad when they were on the pirate ship. I'm like, where's the connection? Anyway, so I do feel like the story was very consistent with how the Power Rangers episodes and series went. So I will give it that. I will say that I feel like it stuck to the true like heart of like basically it was like cut scenes, like random cut scenes, and then it shifts to like they're in the ocean and now they're flying through space, and it just like it cut through that, and it just sort of like shifted and molded to how I think original Power Rangers stories were. You know what I mean? That's what I remember. So I will say that. And so let's for sure talk about the martial arts, because there were some things where I was like, you barely kicked him and he ran into the wrestling ring rope and then did a flip from the rope and then just completely broke his back. So Juan, let's bring some up. Let's talk about it. What was going on in this movie?
Because because that is what Power Rangers was. From the just seeing the huge reactions of woo, 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 like just taking all of that, like watching it, like speaking of the pirate ship, like that whole fight scene is like one of my like favorite fight scenes, because like it's just like these turtles, turtles coming out of the water, and like seeing everybody fight, and then just Tommy just like jumps off, like it's so good. But like with Tommy, because like with Jason David Frank being a world-renowned martial artist, like it's getting to see like the true forms within, like, because like the OG Rangers, like when you really got to think about OG-ness, like we can go in even that with Star Wars. OG lightsaber fights are way better back in the day than the new ones. That's not even a question. And when you see the OG, like you really see more of the characters doing like the fighting.
Yeah, there's passion behind every swing. Yeah.
Like, you really see that. And like, obviously, like when you see like friggin' homegirl, like whip up her leg, catch in that like she was like, bam, right in it. Got you, bitch. Like she was just like, get it. And then like also seeing Johnny on Bush, because he had honestly some of the quickest hands. Like his hand, like his straight up form with his hands is one of my favorites. And like just seeing everybody like with the fight, and like how you were saying, like that's just how it was. Like big reactions, the fight, like it was the best. And everyone was in the mirror, just like
everyone flips over the camera. The camera's pointed at the sky. Everyone just like flips over it.
Like,
or even like they do like 2 moves and then they just look to camera. Like who's next?
Yep, and it was always like the best. It was always like the best music. Like even for like the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie, it's like welcome to my nightmare action man now. Like it's so awesome. It was the freaking best.
I love the even like the Green Ranger had his own theme song and the White Ranger had his own theme song and I would sing it, but it'd be awful.
The music back in the day was just the best, and for like those fight scenes, like when when everyone comes together, like for the big because in the movie, correct me, I'm pretty relatively sure about this. In the film, they kidnapped Jason and Kimberly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, making sure because in the Passing the Torch episodes, like they were back at the high school. They don't really go into the movie because the show starts with them at graduation, and then Rocky ends up being the Blue Ranger again. But then Justin, because it was weird, but it was fine. But it was interesting, seeing all the different because back in the day, because Rocky, that dude be hitting the splits, these were elite level people. And don't get me wrong, Power Rangers, throughout history, they would always pick actors that knew what they were doing. But then you would also know which actors obviously didn't have that. You're watching, literally, I'll watch shows. I'll be stunt double, actor, stunt double, stunt double, stunt double, and I'm just watching it because being in stunts, I learned so much. And also, my martial arts stunt teacher was a Power Ranger. He played the Blue Ranger in Lightspeed Rescue. He was my teacher, and I ended up learning so much. It was so cool. And
everyone knows Yoshi. I don't know Yoshi. Yoshi, if you're watching, I've never met you. Why? You've met everyone.
Yoshi, he's the Blue Power Ranger from Dino Charge.
Oh, okay, yeah, and I only hear good things about him.
Yoshi's a monster. He's a whole nother level. I only
hear good things about him, and I'm sad I haven't met him.
If you want to see a dope movie that Yoshi's in, look up Paper Tigers on Netflix. I've heard that. Watch Paper Tigers. He plays a main character, but it's a past and then a future thing. But he played the younger self of a main character, which is dope. And they're just kicking ass. But yeah, the martial arts and stunts in the OG Power Rangers was always fun to watch. It was always exciting.
Yeah. Well, I started to think. Do you think Rocky threw himself over because he wanted out? And
of Power Rangers
dramatically threw himself out, and then we cut to the hospital scene, and he's just like, "Oh man, I don't know if I could be a Power Ranger anymore." And they're like, "No, a doctor said you're gonna have a full recovery." He's like, I don't know if
I don't know.
I think it was more the fact of because
I dropped my power coin down the sewer. Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, because they were on a time crunch. It's there's not 4 Rangers, there's 5. Rocky's indisposed. Hey, we need a sub. We need a sub, and Justin, of course. Hey, he there was a situation, there was an opportunity, he took it. If I saw some ish like that, and I'm already friends with these guys, I'd be like, wait, y'all need a sub? Oh hell yeah, bro! I do martial arts too. I'm down to whoop some ass. I'm in. Let's freaking go.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So Q says the music was cheesy too. Our Stephanie, our producer, who we love you, Stephanie. She said, I'm breaking the rules to make it happen, to make it happen, to do the Power Rangers, the first one. So thank you, Steph. Because we've been doing reviews for anniversaries or, shows that have been coming up.
I will come back.
Films,
I'm
here. I'm buying a shirt. I'm buying shit. I'm doing, because I love that movie so much.
Should I ironically wear a Turbo hoodie then?
Because that would be, it could be opposites.
Yeah.
Stephanie also said the podcast edit of this is going to be hilarious. I can only imagine because all I can hear is Juan going.
Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all do the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I'll be back for that one. And I also have stories from the Power Rangers, the new one that came out. I got invited to go watch that, and I got to go to the after party and everything. I met all of them. Met Jason David Frank there too. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
I got that immediately when it came out because I was just I just got to it's different, it's cool, it's super nostalgic, and Elizabeth Banks and just everybody that was in that movie was great.
Yeah. Yeah. My homie RJ was the Blue Ranger. When I saw it and I talked to him, bro, you played a character with freaking who's on the spectrum. You are the first autistic power. You kicked ass, and he did so good. He's like, bro, thank you, man, because because the after party was so much fun, and Jason David Frank told me the story of how he ended up getting kicked out of the theater. Did you hear about that story? So you know how like his scene was very short in that movie.
Yeah,
like,
him and Amy Jo.
So,
right?
Yeah, so he was recording because he was like he wanted to like record on thing. Security came up to him and they like were like, "Hey, come here." He's like, "Hold on, he's like trying to record it." They get him out of there, and he's like in the back of the theater. He's like, "Guys, what do you like? I'm in the movie. This
is me.
Like, I'm the Power Ranger."
Me. And he's like, "I am power." He was calm. But then, like, the dude's just like, you can't record. Like, it's like, guys, like, I am allowed to do this. And like, the people at like the producers,
like,
they were like, "Do you guys? This is Jason. What are you guys doing?" And he ended up like not being able to see the scene, and he was pissed, bro. And he told me about that. I was like, "What?" I felt so bad. I didn't get to meet Amy Jo. I just missed her, and I was so mad. I was like, "Dude, that's literally my crush."
That's the only one I haven't met. I've got to meet others through conventions. It's funny. Walter Jones and I we share the same.
Walter.
Yeah, we both share the same manager, but I yet to meet him. It's really weird. It's just a weird, chain of events. But cool. He is so nice. He's the one I've talked to the most. And Austin St. John is probably my favorite Ranger. I just think because like I started. Like,
Jason, okay.
I started day one,
of course,
before Tommy even showed up, and I was just drawn to the T-Rex, and I love the color red. Because as a kid, it's just like I like the color blue. So I was like, I like the color red, and he has a T-Rex, and he's got a thunderous voice. It's really commanding. Tommy's badass. I understand why he's the fan favorite because he's got a dark history. He was evil, then he wasn't.
Oh no.
He
was the white, the green. He just was every color.
He was was he? Let's see if we can name him. It was
you want to name him?
Red, black, right?
Okay, so we'll start it off. White Tiger, green. Dragon Sword. Then he went Zeo, Turbo, and then Black Dino Thunder Ranger.
Yeah, right, green. There. Yeah, white
and ninjutsu. Like if you want to go with like in like Namor and ninja, but like that one was cool. I liked when they did the ninja one. That one was cool. And then, but it was like the ninja, but then they were in their Mighty Morphin outfits. Like it was so cool.
That's funny.
So I remember being a kid. I remember being a super small kid, and my parents took me to Universal. If you've ever been to Universal Studios, and you go down City Walk, and you're like going to go
Scare Night Actor.
Hey, same.
Oh yes.
Wait, I'm a scare actor. Oh, I was scare actor. That's cool.
Okay, you guys probably scared me. That's fine.
Yeah.
And when I went down a City Walk, there's like a place where the bathrooms are. I ran into Skull when I was a kid, and I pointed him out and I said, "Dad, that's Skull from Power Rangers." And he was like, "Do you want to take a picture with him?" And I said,
"Let's wait till he finishes peeing first."
Maybe. No, he was like out, like
okay.
And so like
hey,
yeah, right. Hey, excuse me. Like puts his
take your hand off your dick.
Right. So my dad goes up to him and goes, "Hey man, like this is my kid. Like he watches Power Rangers. He knew who you were. Like he likes all the characters, and he's wondering if you take a picture." The guy was super nice, super sweet. I took a picture with him. It was great. And then Walter Jones, I used to go to the same church as him when I was younger.
That's
and
cool.
I ran into him, and he was with his family, and I was like, I keep in mind, I'm a full blown like 18-year-old, like adult, like right, like you.
So this is a time skip.
Yeah, this is a time skip. I was like, I literally went up to him and I was like, "Hi, can I take a picture with you? You're awesome. You're the Black Ranger. You guys are my heroes."
Because you don't know what to say in these moments, right?
What the fuck? Like, because you're like you watched them when you were a kid, and you're like, I idolized you. And then you see them as an adult, like as a human, like right, like because they're humans, like actors are humans, like that eat and shit, like all of us. And I was like, "Oh, you're here, and I don't know how to approach you in this public institution, but I'm going to tell you why I think you're awesome." And he was like the nicest guy.
That's
I don't know if you know, but he's like missing like 2 of his fingers.
Yeah, in the show, he doesn't have a pinky.
Or he's ring or something.
Yeah, it was like that for the show. They never filmed on like that side of his body. So whenever he was always moving his hands, you have to like really look to like see it. Like you gotta like pay attention. Like it was crazy. Like I met him at the Power Ranger thing too. And like when I gave him this, I was like, "Oh my gosh, so that was true." I didn't say that. Like, "Oh, so you are missing a finger." Like,
he was just like he had no right. He was just like a human, though. All stuff. And I was like, Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying he had a story where he was doing a photo shoot for Power Rangers, and there was like this mannequin like in wardrobe, or I'm probably getting the story a little bit wrong, but there was like a mannequin in wardrobe or something, and he like broke off one of the fingers and used it on his hand, and whoever was taking photos noticed and yoinked it off and didn't let him use the fake finger.
Oh no.
Yeah. But you know who because you met Skull, I've run into Bulk 2 times, and I'm sure he's a lot like Skull. He is, when you start talking to him, you feel like you're just like friends with him. Like last time I met him was at a Comic-Con, and we just started talking, and I'm like, I forgot that he was Bulk after a while. And it's like there was a game that came out that made Bulk and Skull Rangers. I don't know if you know about that, but
that was like that iPhone game, right? Whatever, like
something.
The Ranger,
it was like a
Legacy
iPhone
or something.
or board game, and Skull was the purple ranger. He was like a toucan, and then Bulk was orange, and he was a wild boar. And I remember talking to him, and I'm like, "Hey, is it cool? Like, do you think it's cool that you're like finally a Power Ranger?" He's like, "Oh yeah." It's like, but they made me a boar. I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? You know.
Right.
But he was the coolest dude. He was just down to earth, man.
Well, yeah, they always tend to be like that generation of like performers. Yeah, like we're always good people. Like when I met Billy, I met the actor who plays Billy at the Power Ranger movie, and he was cool. so nice. There were a lot of Rangers there, like from many different generations. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to like have those conversations. Even like when I ended up talking to like a lot of like the movie, like when I talked to freaking like Becky G. And like the girl who played the Pink Ranger, like I met her before, like when I did like Disney stuff, and I'm like, "You're a Power Ranger now." And I talked to the director, and I was like, "Yo, my guy, so what's up with like the Green Ranger? Like, what's good? Like, I got no problem." I was like, "Yo, I do this, and this. Like, I think I'd be a pretty good Green Ranger if you're gonna do a sequel." You know, I'm just saying, my guy. Like, I was like, "Yo, bro, love the movie." I'm like, "Yo, if you need my info, like, I'll get like you want OG-ness? Like, I want to be part of that Power Ranger legacy, my guy.
Right.
Let me get in there."
Yeah.
They were probably going to make, wasn't it like they were going to make Rita the Green Ranger or something like that?
well, in the movie, Rita in the movie, like Rita was the Green Ranger.
Yeah, like, because she was also in all green and everything. And,
because she had that, like her fit was interesting, like freaking Elizabeth
Banks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was. You know, my favorite part of that movie, which is a good thing, was the Rangers themselves. Like they were written. Mm-hmm. It was like the Breakfast Club meets Power Rangers, and I actually found them likable. I was nervous about that. I'm like, I'm gonna find these new characters annoying, but I really didn't. It was cool.
Yeah.
So Turbo Power Rangers. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What was that? I forgot about
Turbo.
That movie.
Yeah. So how did you all feel about if there were, so I don't know if you ever got into the games, like when you were there. Cause I was like, so back then it was like, I think it was like Sega Genesis. It was like N64. And there was a lot of these games that came out where it was like fighting games where like, it was like the droid, or like you could play like, you know, all the characters and like pick which one. I remember one specifically where it was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and you could pick which one you can do. And they had all their weapons, like you could fire them, you could do all that stuff. And it was great. I think for this one, I don't know if they ever made a Turbo game, but I do remember that there was the Turbo Droid in like a game that I used to play. And so like watching them fight, what was the guy's name?
Ivan Ooze?
No. The in this one, Malagor.
Malagor,
yeah. Like you could fight him, and it was like the coolest thing. So you know, as a kid, I was like, "Oh, I'm fucking fighting."
Was that the one where you mostly played as the Megazords? It was like a fight.
So there was like one where it was like Mortal Kombat, but for Power Rangers characters. Then there was one where it was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where you literally would play as any of them, and you could.
I think that's the one I played, and it was like a beat 'em up. Style. Yeah, I played that one over and over, and I would beat the game with like a different Ranger every time. And,
totally. You get their story and like do all that stuff. So it was really
I remember that.
So. There were a couple of times in this entire movie where something would happen and I would laugh. One of them for sure was when they just automatically accepted Billy as one of them, even though he's like, or not Billy, sorry.
Justin,
where they were just like, Okay, like we looked after you and you were singing, you didn't want to sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat, but now you're one of us and you're like 17, 16 now with one of us.
Like, again, it's opportunity. It's like it was either they complete the 5 or we're about to go do all this stuff. Down a ranger, he knows everything, knows all the information. Yeah. So it is what it is. They're like, again, they're teenagers too. It's like, what are we gonna do? Hey, we're gonna tell their parents, hey, your son can't be a Power Ranger with us. Okay, hold on, you're Power Rangers. Like,
Zordon could have picked any of the guys in the ring that they were like fighting.
Oh yeah,
But there's no trust. They don't know these people. It's like, yo, like Justin, Rocky vouched for just like, yo, he's cool. He like, I'm hurt. He can do some stuff. Who knows? Maybe when he turns into maybe when he's a Power Ranger. And I found that funny. I love it whenever he would have the helmet off. He was back to his normal size, and then when he's back on,
the air went
like right back up there. Like those were the best. I'm like, so it's kind of like Bane, like your helmet is your power. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So Jason and Kimberly show up, and I guess they just hang out together. And
they were scuba diving, bro. They were scuba diving.
Yeah, they're like, we came here to surprise them for the shelter, because they're always doing like, we're recycling the world. Like we're here for the shelter, but let's do some professional scuba diving to kill some time in the middle of the night.
It's a crossover between Captain Planet and Power Rangers.
Yeah,
you gotta do something.
When you're a Power Ranger, you're just good at everything.
Is like swimming by, and
they're like,
you're a Power Ranger. You're good at everything. Like, hey, I've never done this before in my life. I think I'll be good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I feel like the whole wizard nonsense, the whole Laragoat thing was unnecessary.
It was out of place. It felt weird.
Very out of place.
Yeah,
but that just that just opens up like with Power Rangers, like how it goes into like some Power Rangers are in different universes. Like Power Rangers is basically the multi. It's a Power Ranger version. It's like the world is so much bigger. And
the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
I like that near the end of the movie. There's one part where Justin, like, shit's going down, like they're doing the spell to bring the monster out, and the Rangers show up, and Justin literally just beats up like 2 putties. That's it. And then he looks at Divatox and he's like, "Give up yet?" And I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
you just like kicked 2 guys down. What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, shit, I got to get out of here."
Like, come on, guys! Like when he jumps up, yeah, I found it. Follow me, yo, Justin, chill. Justin, chill.
Also, keep your voice down, Justin. We're trying to be stealthy here.
I love how
over there. I can hear them.
It's over there. They're not gonna like. And I love like the morph when he's like, all right, yeah.
Whoever was the actor in that suit at that time when he goes, "Oh, wait for me," and then jumps and does like
they're like this close. It's like, wait for me.
That kid was like friggin' living life. And like the first morph as a team, when he's like, "It's morphin' time," he's like, "Yeah, oh," and then he just like he's like, "Oh," like, and then Tommy's just like, "Fuck,"
yeah.
And then boom.
Oh my God.
I would have loved if Tommy did have that conversation with Justin. He had to like pull him to the side and be like, look at my face right now. Okay. You do what I say. I'm the leader here. Okay.
I am the red.
This is red. Red means leader. Okay.
On a rainbow, I'm first.
Yeah. You don't fuck with me. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
This is my freaking 3rd time being a Power Ranger. Shit, you shut your mouth.
This is my life. Like he's breaking down. This is what I stand for. Okay. If I'm not a ranger, I'm nothing. Okay. What do I do? Go back to teaching karate classes? No way, sir.
And hey, Tommy becomes a paleontologist.
Yeah. Good for him, I guess. Yeah.
He's a gem. He's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
becomes true. A doctor.
Hey, becomes a paleontologist, and then the ranger, you're ranger for life. Dino Thunder was cool. I like a lot of them. I like a lot of the theme songs were really cool. Then the theme songs are always fun.
Yeah.
Sure. So Robert, you had some questions. You had, because I know before they were Zeo.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Was the iteration before.
So there's some questions I have. I don't know about your guys' Zeo knowledge, but if I remember correctly, so they became Zeo Rangers from the Zeo crystals that I think only grew with power over time, because when they found like the main crystal, it's been like hundreds of years and it's just been gaining power and it broke into pieces, and that's why they all have different shapes. But I'm like, technically, shouldn't they have just stayed Zeo and just became more powerful? Like if they never left Zeo, wouldn't they be like God-like by now? but apparently, I guess a running water can stop you from morphing into a ranger, as we learned when Kat tries to morph and then she falls into the water. The power was electricity in the water. But couldn't she like morph? I was like, there was a few times where I'm like, can't they morph right now? Like when the little wizard was walking down the beach, and he's like, fuck you guys, and couldn't they have just like morphed into the Zeo Rangers and like got him back and just like fought Divatox that way?
Well, they were by that point they were turbo.
Yeah, were they turbo by then?
Yeah, because the Zeo crystals were like diminishing in power, and then the turbo is like more powerful. Like I'd be forgetting like how it's like by now crossing this stage, you will now become the world of turbo. Like his whole speech is all like, where did this? Because like didn't Alpha like have to like help create like it's like
in fact there was like a scene where they were like making the Zords, and I remember Tommy is just like, yeah, implement code 52873. I'm just like, you guys are literally building the Zords right now.
Yeah, dude. It's like, yeah, because the White Ranger was created. Like after the Green Ranger power coins were destroyed, like his was he needed an even stronger. So the white Tiger Zord, White Tiger,
the green candle burned out and he lost his powers.
No, it's because freaking Rita Repulsa put a curse on it.
Yeah.
Rita Repulsa was like, but real talk, the Green Power Ranger he was low-key the strongest, like, although he straight up murked. He jumped into their Zord, whooped their ass, kicked them out. He's like, yo, I'm boss now, bitch.
That was my first cliffhanger experience as a kid, was the end of part 4 Green.
It's like, who's the Green Ranger?
Yeah, and he turns and he's like all pixelated, and then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, damn, man, that's the OG, man. He went beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, I know. With his flute. Yeah, with his flute. I remember having a Sava sword. Like,
I had that.
Like, and it like you'd open the thing and it would go, and it like the blade would extend, and I was like, this is the best toy I've ever had.
Like 2 buttons.
That is where we can go into like the Power Ranger movie. I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh no,
Sava is the best.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do Power Rangers. I can go. Oh man. Oh, there you go.
Oh, that was such the best. Anyway, so we're getting closer to the end of our time together.
Shifting gears.
MICKEY. Just kidding. So what are some last thoughts? What are some feelings? How did we feel about this movie altogether? Juan, you seem real passionate about it. You're like, damn, I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. Robert, same. What are some last minute takeaways about this movie where it was like, did this set up the Turbo franchise? Like, did this set up people to be like, cool, like this is what I'm on moving forward? What's like any last thoughts? And we'll start with Juan.
I feel like a lot of people will say Turbo is probably one of their favorite seasons or his favorite Rangers. Like when it comes to power and like that and like different kinds of Rangers. Cause like, this is the first time we saw a Kid Ranger. And then in the Turbo series,
and the last time,
we end up seeing TJ, the first Black Red Ranger, and then we see freaking Carlos, like freaking Latino Ranger, and then we got freaking like Aisha chooses homegirl to like be the new Yellow Ranger, and then we get the Pink Ranger, and like it was so interesting. Like with Turbo, it's like like. It was like for one of the best theme songs like ever, and like the Zords were cool, and like the whole team aspect of it, because like we saw the OGs, but then we saw the passing of the torch into, because we know Rangers can't be Rangers forever. It is what it is, and then when they get to choose their Rangers, like who they feel is worthy to take on their legacy, that's a good thing, and you really see that in the show. You don't really see that in like a lot of other ones, like where Rangers are passing the torch, like y'all are the Rangers now. Like you don't really get to see that. That's what I really thought that was really cool with like Turbo, and like with the film itself. Of course, is it adorably cheesy? Obviously. Is it fun to watch still with your homies? Like if you're with your boys and be like, yo, guys, you know what I want to watch right now? What? Power Rangers Turbo movie. Bro, put that shit on right now, man. Like, let's go. Like there are movies you can always say to your friends and be like, yo, let's watch this. Power Rangers Turbo, that's one of them. And if they've never seen it, be like, yo, bro, sit your ass on the couch. We're gonna watch this movie now.
Definitely. And
yeah,
Robert,
I would have to agree. Like the theme song, which I think has been like the same band every time, doing
for
all
quite some time.
songs. Yeah.
Really? That's cool.
I think so, but man, they kill it. They kill it every time.
Mighty engines roar, turbocharged.
And dude, go back and listen to the Green Ranger theme song and the White Ranger theme song. Not even that. It's the theme that plays when he's fighting. It's like
like down, Ranger go, like I was they really did that. Like certain people would get very specific songs. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, pretty much just Tommy. Like it wasn't like a Tommy. Jason song, but
no one cares. Like
but I thought the Turbo movie, it looked and acted way better than I thought it would. Like and I think it was a great kind of like introduction to the show. It's still to this day like the coolest helmets in my opinion. They're just so freaking cool looking. I had the Zord toys. I even like their because every the Ranger format is like usually mid-season they introduce a sixth Ranger, which for Turbo they didn't do a sixth Ranger. They introduced two different car-esque Rangers. One was like this black I forget what his name was. I have it somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Here it is. VRV Master, and then there was another guy named Signal Man, and he looked like a cop.
It was like those those robots that were
they were both like
I remember that.
But then they always introduced
like VR troopers.
And then they have like a secondary Megazord upgrade, which I thought was cool because in Turbo it was like this train would come in and the Red Ranger had a fire truck and it made like a cooler Zord. I've always been a fan of Turbo, and I think Justin grew on me over time. I think at first I was like, the hell,
I love when he popped up. Justin. And I like Power Rangers. Like when they started doing the whole crossovers, that's when things got cool. Yeah, crossover episodes of Rangers. That's when shit got dope.
I do wish, if I had to say anything, I always thought it would be cool to. Again, this is probably for budget because now you're talking about a bunch of costumes, but it would have been cool to see them fight as Zeo Rangers at some point in the movie and then transition into Turbo. But I don't know, maybe that little tease that we got when Kat was trying to morph was good enough.
Because like weren't the Zero crystals like broken? Like because she goes Zero Ranger 5 pink and like what I do forget what happens to the Zero crystals just because they weren't as powerful as the Turbo ones, right?
I guess, but
it's like, hey, you're dealing with an even stronger enemy. You need stronger power. So welcome to the world. Like that's how I always felt like the transition was like. But like as different Power Ranger shows went on, it was more in the fact of like the Ranger stuff that is like I've always so interesting. Japan, man, they're so ahead on them Power Rangers, man.
I watched a lot of the Super Sentai before, and there's like some messed up stuff. They're like, there's an episode when Rita turns a bunch of kids into trees, and then this then all of a sudden there's like construction company starts chopping down trees, but they're chopping down their kids who are turned into trees, and so the Rangers have to like stop them from sawing down all these trees because it was all messed up.
What are you doing over there? Don't cut that tree.
Stop it.
Oh man!
Stop it! Oh, and the Psycho Rangers. Oh man, so many cool things.
We could go on. We could go on
all day.
All day.
Alien Rangers.
People forget about the Alien Rangers because when the Zeo Rangers they became kids. It's like, yo, and then here come these Power Rangers from space, and the Ninja Rangers were those bits were sick.
I have some questions. This would be better for the Power Ranger movie episode, but I have some questions about the ninja morphing.
It's morphing time.
Yeah,
like
it was like when you don't want to morph all the way, you kind of want to morph halfway, then you do the ninja.
And what's crazy from my understanding, I think it was their Red Ranger was a female, or like
which one
for the ninja.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about from the movie. When they
movie,
literally are like dressed like ninjas.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I always wondered why they morph into ninjas. Why not?
And
just
that's a whole. And that's a whole nother movie. There's the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger one, and then there's the Ninja movie. There's two different Mighty Morphins, and it was very interesting, like how that was.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, as much as we could talk about this all night, time is up. Cool. That's all the time we have to talk about Turbo, a Power Rangers movie tonight. So thank you all, everybody who's watching, for tuning in. Be sure to join our Discord to keep the conversation going. Shout out to my guests tonight. Y'all, you made this good. Juan and Robert, y'all are great. Awesome.
Thank you.
And amazing.
Thank you for having us. Follow us at our social medias.
So I was just going to ask you, Juan, where can people find you at?
So I had to create a new Instagram because my main one got hacked. I'm still trying to fight to get that back. So my main IG right now is @Juan_Abdias. Check that out. I'm going to be posting a lot more stunt stuff on there. A lot of different types of videos. So we'll see what's up. And yeah, give me a follow. And like, hey Robert, what's your social media?
Robert, what's up with you? Where can we find you?
Well, it's pretty simple. It's Robert Dunne at the bottom of like my little, I guess, screen. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's Robert Dunne. It's pretty simple.
Robert Dunne.
There I'll be posting. There's like a few projects that I've worked on. Maybe I'll post some because I worked on like a Power Ranger thing once. Maybe I'll just like repost that stuff, like a Power Ranger fight I did. Yeah, maybe get some opinions on it. That'd be cool.
Send it my way.
So, I would like to see what you think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely.
So feel free to follow, like, and subscribe, and get all the content. Oh boy.
Yeah, all the things.
It's exciting.
Y'all can find me cityofstars13.com on Instagram. That's where I usually am at. I'm also on TikTok. I don't make TikTok, so you don't need my shit there. These two gentlemen, though, are more popular than me, so please follow them. So Nom Watch Review and Basic Binges are now in podcast form. If you missed this live stream or any other live stream, don't worry about it. You can listen to it next day on Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, as well as here on Twitch. All of our platforms are at Nom Talk Network. I would like to give always an amazing shout out to our producer, Stephanie Sandmeyer, who without this, none of it would be made possible. So Stephanie, we love you. Thank you. You're amazing. You give life to this show, to this whole entire channel. So thank you so much. So until then, I'm your host, Jordyn Orozco, and I hope you all have a nomerific day. So thank you all. See you later.
Later, guys. It's more for time.